The Prodigies of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Series 21. Volume 34, January 1st, 1937. The feast that the Queen of Heaven prepared for her Son Jesus at his birth. How love is a magnet that transforms and embellishes. I was thinking of the incarnation of the Word and the excesses of love of the divinity that seemed like seas that, enveloping all creatures, wanted to make them feel how much they loved them, to be loved in return, and investing them inside and out, they murmured continuously, without ever ceasing, "Love, love, love. Love do we give, and love do we want." And our Celestial Mother, feeling wounded by the continuous cry of the Eternal One, giving love and wanting love, appeared all attentive in requiting her dear Son, the Incarnate Word, by forming herself a surprise of love. Now at that moment the celestial infant came out of the maternal womb, and oh, how I longed for him! And he, throwing himself into my arms, all festive, told me, "My daughter, see, my mamma prepared for me the feast at my birth. But do you know how? She was aware of the seas of love that were coming down from heaven in the descent of the Eternal Word. She heard the continuous cry of God, wanting to be loved in return, and our yearnings, our ardent sighs. She had felt my moans inside her womb. Often she heard me cry and sob. Each of my moans was a sea of love that I sent to each heart in order to be loved back. And in seeing myself unloved, I cried unto bursting into sobs. But each tear and sob doubled my seas of love in order to win the creatures by dint of love. But no, they would convert these seas into pains, while I made use of the pains in order to convert them into yet more seas of love, for as many pains as they gave me. Now my mamma wanted to make me smile upon my being born, and prepare the feast for her baby son. She knew that I cannot smile if I am not loved, nor can I take part in any feast if love does not run in it. Therefore, loving me as true mother, and possessing by virtue of my fiat seas of love, queen as she was of all creation, she enveloped the heavens with her love, and sealed each star with the "I love you, O sun, for myself and for all." She enwrapped the sun with her sea of love, and impressed in each drop of light her "I love you, O sun." And then she called it, so that it may caress him with its breeze, and make him feel in each blowing of its breath, I love you, O my son." She enveloped all the air within her seas of love, so that in breathing he might feel the breath of love of his mother. She covered the whole of the sea with her sea of love, and each dart of the fish, and the sea murmured, "I love you, O my son," and the fish darted, "I love you, I love you." There was nothing she did not invest with her love, and with her empire of queen she commanded all to receive her love, to give back to her Jesus the love of his mamma. So each bird, some trilled love, some twittered, some warbled love. Even each atom of the earth was invested by her love. The breath of the animals reached me with the "I love you" of my mother, and the hay was invested by her love. Therefore there was not one thing that I saw or touched in which I would not feel the sweetness of her love. With this she prepared for me the most beautiful feast upon my birth, a feast all of love. It was the requital of my great love that my sweet mother made me find, and it was her love that calmed my crying, warmed me while I was numb with cold in the manger. More so since I found in her love the love of all creatures, and for each of them she kissed me, clasped me to her heart, and loved me with love of mother on behalf of her children. And I, feeling in each of them her maternal love, was drawn to love them as children of hers, and as dear brothers of mine. My daughter, what can the love animated by an omnipotent Fiat not do? It makes itself magnet, and draws us to each other in an irresistible way. It removes any dissimilarity. With its warmth it transforms and confirms the creature into the beloved. Then it embellishes her in an incredible way, so much so that heaven and earth feel drawn to love her. Not to love a creature who loves us is impossible for us. The whole of our divine power and strength becomes powerless and weak before the winning force of the one who loves us. Therefore you too, give me the feast that my mother gave me upon my birth. Envelop heaven and earth with your I love you, O Jesus. Let nothing escape you in which your love would not run. Make me smile. In fact, I was not born only once, but I am reborn always, and many times my births are without smile and without feast, and only my tears, sobs, and wailings are left to me, and an icy cold that makes me shiver and all my limbs numb. Therefore clasp me to your heart in order to warm me with your love, and with the light of my will form for me the garment to clothe me, so that you too, Luisa, shall make feast for me, and I shall make it for you by giving you more love and new knowledge of my will. Volume 34, February 10, 1937. The kingdom of the divine will shall be the kingdom of the Queen of Heaven. Her ardent desires and incessant prayers. Assaults of love that she makes upon the divinity in order to obtain it. How she shall place her life at the creature's disposal to give them the grace of making them live of divine will. I felt all immersed in the divine volition. It seemed to me that heaven and earth are longing and praying for the coming of its kingdom upon earth, so that one may be the will of all, and it may reign on earth as it does in heaven. To this did the Queen of Heaven unite herself, who with her ardent sighs, investing everything, moved and united all to herself, angels, saints, and all creation, to ask with her same sighs, and with the same divine will that she possesses, for the Fiat to descend into hearts and form in them its life. But while I was thinking of this, my always lovable Jesus, making himself seen, all love, sighed deeply. His heart was beating so strongly, as if it wanted to burst. And he said to me, "Daughter of my volition, listen to me. My love is about to submerge me. I can no longer contain it. At any cost, even if it should overwhelm heaven and earth, I want my will to come to reign upon earth. And to this unites my celestial mamma, who without ever ceasing says to me, repeats to me, 'Son, hurry, delay no more. Use your stratagems of love. Act as the powerful God that you are. Let your will invest all, and with its power and majesty, together with a love that no one shall be able to resist, take possession of all, and reign on earth as it does in heaven.'" And she says this to me with such ardent sighs, with flaming heartbeats, with her stratagems of love of mother, such that I cannot resist her, to the point of adding, "My son, son of my heart, you made me queen and mother, and my people and my children, where are they? If I were capable of unhappiness, I would be the most unhappy queen and mother, because I possess my kingdom, but I do not have my people who would live of the same will as their queen. And if I do not have my children, to whom to entrust the great inheritance of their mother? Where shall I find the joy, the happiness of maternity? Therefore let your divine fiat reign. Then shall your mamma be happy, and I shall have my people and my children who shall live together with me, with the same will as their mother. Do you think that at this speaking of my mother, which resounds constantly to my ear, and sweetly invests my heart with continuous darts and wounds of love, I can remain indifferent? No, I cannot, nor do I want to. More so since she has never denied anything to me. Therefore I lack the strength to deny myself to her. My divine heart pushes me to make her content. You, unite yourself to us, and long and pray that my will be known and come to reign upon earth. And in order to confirm you more in this, I want to let you hear my sweet mamma. At that moment, I felt her near me, and hiding me under her azure mantle, holding me on her maternal lap, with a love I cannot express, she said to me, "Daughter of my maternal heart, the kingdom of the divine will shall be my kingdom. To me has the sacrosanct Trinity entrusted it, just as they entrusted to me the eternal Word, when he descended from heaven to earth. So did they entrust to me their kingdom and mine. Therefore my yearning is ardent, my prayers incessant. I do nothing other than assault the most holy Trinity with my love, with the rights of queen and of mother that they gave me, so that what they entrusted to me may come out to light, may form its life, and my kingdom may triumph on the face of the earth. You must know that the desire that ignites me is so great that I feel as if I had no glory, while I have so much of it that heaven and earth are filled with it. If I do not see the kingdom of the divine will formed in the midst of my children, because each of these children that shall live in it shall give me so much glory as to redouble the glory I possess. So seeing myself deprived of it, I feel as if I did not have the glory of queen and the love of mother from my children. And this is why in my heart I call them constantly, and I keep repeating, my children, come to your mamma. Love me as your mother, as I love you as my children. If you do not live of that same will from which I lived, you cannot give me the love of true children, nor can you get to know the extent of my love for you. You must know that my love and my ardent longing for this kingdom to exist on earth is so great that I descend from heaven. I make my round from soul to soul to see who is more disposed to live of divine will. I spy on them, and when I see them disposed, I enter into their hearts and form my life in them as preparation, honor, and decorum of that fiat which shall take possession of them and shall form its life in them. Therefore, I shall be inseparable from them. I shall place my life, my love, my virtues, my sorrows at their disposal as a wall of insurmountable fortitude, that they may find in their mother whatever is needed in order to live in this kingdom so holy. Then shall my feast be complete, my love shall rest in my children, my maternity shall find those who love me as children of mine, and I shall give surprising graces, and shall put all heaven and earth in feast. I shall act as queen, lavishing unheard of graces. Therefore, my daughter, remain united with your mamma, that you may pray and long with me for the kingdom of the divine will. Volume 34, May 10th, 1937. how the Queen of Heaven continues her office of mother and raises her Son in the creatures. After this I received Holy Communion, and in my interior my dear Jesus made himself seen as so very little, while the Celestial Mother laid her azure mantle over me and the Divine Little One. Then I don't know how, I felt her inside of me, kissing, caressing, taking her dear Son into her arms. She clasped him to her heart, nurtured him, nourished him, did to him 1,000 stratagems of love, and I was spectator, and marveled. And the sovereign celestial Mamma, with an astounding love, told me, "My daughter, there is nothing to be marveled about. I am inseparable from my dear Jesus. Wherever the Son is, there must be the Mother. This is my task, to raise him within souls. He is tiny, and souls do not know much about the way they must raise him, nor do they have the milk of love with which to nourish him, calm his crying, warm him when they make him numb with cold. I, who am the mother, know the little needs of my divine baby, nor could he be without his mamma. We are inseparable from each other. I repeat within the souls what I did in his tender age, and while I raise my Son, offering all the care to render him happy, at the same time I take care of the daughter, to raise her according to the way my Son wants her. This is my mission, more than celestial. As soon as I see my Son in the souls, so do I run and descend into them, and I occupy myself with his growth. More so, since, one being the will of my Son with mine, as though naturally wherever he is, there I am as well, and as a consequence, my love imposes itself in carrying out the office of mother for he who so much loves me, and for those whom we so much love. Indeed, I feel them like twins born of one labor, my Son God and the creature. How not to love them? Then with a more tender and moving tone she added, "My daughter, how beautiful, great, and prodigious is the virtue of the divine will! It empties everything that is not light or divine. It unites the farthest distances. It repeats in act what was done over centuries and centuries, and it renders, as though natural, the human act in the divine. It is its creative power that reaches the extent of bilocating, of multiplying, of transforming its very life in the creature. Therefore love it very much, and deny nothing to it." Volume 34, May 28, 1937. The Queen, Bearer of Jesus. The great gift that was delivered to her. Task that she received from the Supreme Being. The living in the divine will continues. Its love is so great that it hides me inside of its light, that I may see, feel, or touch nothing but its most holy will. Even more, this morning my celestial mother gave me a dear and sweet surprise. After I had received Holy Communion, she made herself seen in my interior, as she was as though harmonized with baby Jesus, holding him tightly to her maternal heart, keeping him covered with her arms, so much so that in order for me to look at him and cheer him with my little love, I had to abandon myself in her arms, so that I too could remain harmonized with them, and love like Jesus and the Queen Mamma loved each other. Oh, how happy they were that I wanted to live life together with them. Now while I was there, clinging to them, the Sovereign Queen, all goodness and tenderness, told me, "My beloved daughter, you must know that I am the bearer of Jesus. This is a gift that the Supreme Being entrusted to me, and when he was certain that I possessed grace, love, and power, and the very divine will to keep him safe, defended, and loved, only then did he deliver the gift to me, that is, the eternal Word. As he incarnated himself in my womb, they told me, "Daughter of ours, we give you the great gift of the life of the Son God, that you may take ownership of him and give him to whomever you want. Be careful, though, to keep him protected. Never leave him alone, whomever you may give him to, so as to make up for them if they do not love him, and repair if they offend him. You shall make it so that nothing may be lacking to him of the decency, the sanctity, the purity that befit him. Be attentive. This is the greatest gift that we give you, and we give you the power to bilocate him as many times as you want, so that whoever wants it may receive this great gift and possess it. Now this Son is mine. He is my gift, and because he is mine, I know his loving secrets, his yearnings, his longing, such that he reaches the point of crying, telling me with repeated sobs, 'My mamma, give me to souls. I want souls.' And I want what he wants. I can say that I sigh and cry together with him, because I want everyone to possess my Son. But I must keep his life safe, the great gift that God entrusted to me. This is why, if he descends sacramentally into the hearts, I descend together with him for the security of my gift. I cannot leave him alone. Poor son of mine, if he did not have his mamma who descends together with him, how poorly they treat him. Some do not even say to him, 'And I love you,' from the heart, and I must love him. Some receive him in a distracted way, without thinking of the great gift they are receiving, and I pour myself upon him, so as not to let him feel their distractedness and coldness. Some reach the point of making him cry, and I must calm his crying, and give sweet reproaches to the creature, that she would not make him cry. How many touching scenes take place in the hearts that receive him sacramentally! There are souls who are never satiated with loving him, and I give them my love, and even his own love, to let them love him. These are scenes of heaven, and the very angels remain enraptured, and we feel restored from the pains that other creatures have given us. But who can tell you everything? I am the bearer of Jesus, nor does he want to go without me. So much so that when the priest is about to pronounce the words of the consecration over the Holy Host, I make wings with my maternal hands, that he may descend in between my hands to be consecrated, so that if unworthy hands touch him, I let him feel my own that defend him and cover him with my love. But this is not enough. I am always on guard to see if they want my Son, so much so that if a sinner repents of his grave sins and the light of grace dawns in his heart, immediately I bring him Jesus as confirmation of the forgiveness, and I take care of everything that is needed to make him stay inside that converted heart. I am the bearer of Jesus, and I am so because I possess in me the kingdom of his divine will. The divine will reveals to me who it is that wants him, and I run, I fly to bring him, but without ever leaving him. And not only am I the bearer, but the spectator and listener of what he does and says to souls. Do you think that I was not present, listening to the many lessons that my dear Son gave you on his divine will? I was present. I listened, word by word, to what he was telling you. And in each word I thanked my Son, and I felt glorified twice as much, for he was speaking of the kingdom that I already possessed, which had been all my fortune, and the cause for the great gift of my Son. And in seeing him speak, I could see the fortune of my children grafted with mine. Oh, how I rejoiced! All the lessons he gave you, and even more, are already written inside my heart, and in seeing them being repeated to you, in each lesson I enjoyed one more paradise, and each time you were not attentive and would forget them, I asked forgiveness for you, and I prayed him to repeat his lessons, and he, to make me content, because he is unable to deny anything to his mamma, would repeat to you his beautiful lessons. My daughter, I am always with Jesus, but sometimes I hide within him, and it seems that he does everything as if he did it without me, while I am inside of him. I concur with him, and I am aware of what he is doing. Other times he hides within his mamma and lets me operate, but he is always concurring along. Other times both of us reveal ourselves together, and the souls see the mother and the son who love them so much, according to the circumstances and the good needed for them. And many times it is the love that we cannot contain that makes us reach excesses toward them. But be sure that if my son is there, there I am as well, and that if I am there, there is my son. This is a task that was given to me by the Supreme Being, from which I cannot, nor do I want to withdraw. More so, since these are the joys of my maternity, the fruits of my sorrows, the glory of the kingdom which I possess, the will and the fulfillment of the sacrosanct Trinity. You have reached the end of the Prodigies of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Volume 34, Part 4. Fiat.